There's news today, and this is like a whole giant saga. What is going on with this Senator Justine Wadsack so-called speeding ticket and a criminal trial for speeding and all kinds of stuff? There's news today because the judge recused herself. We don't know why. But I have Justine's attorney, Brad Miller, on with me right now for the latest. And before we talk about the judge, last time I had you on, Brad, you mentioned that you've been hounding TPD for the evidence that Senator Justine Wadsack was actually speeding. Have they given you any evidence yet?
Absolutely not. And that's probably been the most shocking thing about this whole thing. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I knew there was something funny in the very beginning because a lot of things came out in the media that just were not true. I mean, the first thing is that Senator Wadsack was never cited with a ticket, ever, even to this day. And then the media leaks the story that there will eventually be a criminal complaint. And then the next day, the main officer that pulled her over that night, this was on July 19th, fills out a criminal complaint form knowing that there is no radar evidence at all. And that's probably the most shocking.
And if you watch the body cam footage, and I'm sure you have, I believe the officer did say, I got you on radar going 71. That was so he said that, yet they're not producing any proof of this.
Well, not only it's not an issue they're not producing proof, it doesn't exist. And we don't believe that it ever did.
Wait, oh wow. So you have confirmation that did they actually admit that to you?
Yeah, so I initially asked for our discovery rules for the radar, produce the evidence against my client, please. And they wrote back that it doesn't exist.
Oh,
and so
my gosh.
I called the prosecutor himself just to confirm, because maybe there was something missing in translation. And he confirmed to me on the phone that he is the main prosecutor. I think he's the number 2 or number 3 in the office, and that it does not exist. They do not have it. It does not exist. And so they plan on moving forward with this criminal complaint, even though they know they have no radar evidence.
This is incredible. So this is huge. This is Brad Miller. He is Senator Justine Wadsack's lawyer. He's on the afternoon addiction right now. So Justine, they claim she went 71 and a 35. So obviously somebody's lying, whether it's the officer, who knows, right? And right after that, she lost an endorsement from the Arizona Fraternal Order of Police, because she supposedly was speeding. Now we know there's no evidence. She lost that, and then she loses by a very small amount the primary election to Rhino Vince Leach. So this leak, there's no evidence, and I mean this is major damages right here. This is a huge deal.
Yeah, this is a huge case. And like I said from the very beginning, we smelled something funny with the whole case about how Tucson police acted in this matter. And, we appreciate the Fraternal Order of Police, but they also have to learn to police their own. And they have to realize that process is due, and that police officers are there to uphold the law. They're up there to uphold the rules. And if they don't have the evidence, and this officer knew he did not have any radar evidence when he signed this criminal complaint. And to me, this is appalling. This is against what our justice system believes in. This is against what Arizona law requires. And so, yes, we're going to continue to ask questions, because the more questions we're asking, the more this case falls apart and the more this case stinks. So we're going to continue to push it, and we're going to continue to ask questions of not only the officer himself, but the police chief, because somebody put this officer up to signing this criminal complaint knowing they didn't have the evidence, and we want to know who.
Now, this is huge. How do they, I'm not an attorney like you are, Brad, but I've watched enough on TV. How do they go to trial when there's zero evidence of any crime and they admit we have no evidence? Shouldn't they just dismiss this right now?
Yeah, they absolutely should. And that's one of the things I asked the prosecutor directly. I said, how do you plan on proving this case when the officer doesn't say in his report that he paced Senator Wadsack? All he says is there was a visual observation. And so the prosecutor told me that his plan is to ask, based upon the officer's training and experience, that he can tell what somebody's speed is based upon observing the vehicle. Is
that even legal?
Unfortunately, a little bit, yes, they can do it. But we're certainly going to bring in, if they're going to play this game, then fine. I don't see how a human being can tell the exact speed of an individual, especially since this is a criminal matter beyond a reasonable doubt. But if they want to continue to play this game, they want to double down on this nonsense. They want to double down in violation of due process and what looks like a political hit, then fine.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in multiple experts of our own to show that this is junk science and it cannot be relied upon at all.
Wow. So considering that they claim that this guy can use his eyes and know how fast someone is going, does it play into the case and evidence the fact that he lied on his body cam when he told Senator Wadsack that I got you on my radar at 71? I mean, how can you trust anything he says?
Well, that's exactly where we're going to go, and we're going to ask him those questions, and we're going to put him under oath, and we're going to record that conversation for posterity's sake. And to preserve it for our civil claim eventually.
Oh, a civil claim. That is fantastic. This is crazy. This is like such a giant political hit. Again, Senator Wadsack's done a great job in the state Senate. And out of nowhere, she speeds, supposedly, allegedly, we're told, without evidence, in March. And then a couple of weeks before the primary election in July, this whole story comes out. It's leaked by TPD to the media. The media runs with it. They have no evidence. I mean, have you contacted any of the other media, the TV, the newspaper, and say, hey, maybe you guys should do a story on the fact that you guys put out fake news, you guys lied, you put out misinformation?
Oh, we certainly will be. We'll contact all the main news outlets now that this information is solidified.
Wow.
But we want to conduct a few interviews first, and then we'll go out into the media. I'm sure they'll still spin it against Senator Wadsack, and that's fine. But we have the truth on our side. We have the law on our side, and we have due process on our side, and those are the things we intend to show.
Well, this is huge stuff, Brad Miller. Brad Miller is the attorney for Senator Justine Wadsack. He's on the Afternoon Addiction. And then the story that came out today, like this is crazy. I've never seen this before. Again, I don't have as much experience as you. You're an actual lawyer. I am just some schmo on the radio. But this judge that was overseeing this, Geraldine Hale, she has recused herself. This is for an alleged speeding ticket, and this judge is there any reason why a judge in like traffic court should recuse herself?
No. So the main reasons why judges give to recuse themselves is typically a conflict, or if they don't believe that they can be fair. So I have had judges who I've known prior to joining the bench, being appointed to the bench, recuse themselves because of the personal relationship. But very rarely, that's pretty rare, and those things are announced. There is none of that in this particular matter. This judge clearly recused herself sua sponte, that means by herself, without any request from either myself or the state, basically saying she couldn't be fair in this case. That tells you, unfortunately, maybe some of the biases we may be dealing with. I hope the new judge, and I believe the new judge will be fair to us, will rule this in accordance with the law, but yeah, this is shocking.
Well, so then that she recused herself, is the trial now delayed? It must be delayed, right?
Yeah, so what they did is they set a status conference for October 29th, which we will be there to attend, to figure out a trial date. On October 29th, we'll have a trial date. Of course, we'll let you know what that date is, because we intend to continue to push, continue to ask questions of these folks, because again, the more and more we're pursuing this, the more and more this case is falling apart.
Yeah. This is just me, right? I don't trust anything after 2020 anymore. And the city of Tucson appears to be, and Tucson Police Department appear to be very crooked in this whole story, in this whole case. Do you think there's a chance this judge recused herself just to try to give the city of Tucson more time? I mean, you've been very aggressive, and I love it, to get this information out there. Usually used to Republicans being weak and just backing off, and Senator Wadsack's fighting, which is great. Do you think that maybe this judge recused herself to try to give the city more time?
Yeah, that could be the case, but I think she just didn't believe that she could be fair because she knows that we're looking into it. And I think you hit the nail on the head, is that very often Republicans back down, they capitulate, they don't fight. Well, those days are done, and I think that's one of the main reasons why Senator Wadsack had this hit go out on her. But information is going to come out here very soon. I gave you kind of a preview about what I think was going to happen the last time I was on your show. But here's a new preview for you. We believe that there's potential evidence that there's conflicts with the actual prosecutor himself. And so that'll be coming out very soon. We're going to continue to ask questions, and this case is not over. It's far from over.
And just to get it out, this is the city attorney's office in Tucson, like the number 2 or 3 person.
Correct.
He has conflicts. Wow.
Potentially, yes.
Potentially has conflicts. I'm assuming political. That's what I'm thinking. No, obviously.
I think it's not necessarily political, but I think it has to do with his view of production of evidence. And so we're going to show that, and we're going to bring those things out.
Wow. Yeah. You guys are taking down the crooked city of Tucson. I'm loving this stuff. This is fantastic. It needs to get cleaned up. It needs an enema. This is fantastic. Listen, please keep me updated. I want to get all this information out for the entire state to hear. So, thank you so much for the time, Brad. Brad Miller, he's the attorney for Senator Justine Wadsack. And Brad, you also happen to be the guy that's going to be the Pinal County attorney. You won the primary. There's no Democrat challenging in the general. So, you're just a few months away from becoming the Pinal County attorney. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much. And we intend to bring this fight even to Pinal County to make sure that we have due process and fairness in our system in the entire county.
That's fantastic. Brad Miller, thank you so much for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Garrett.